Kiss my ass.
The CFO, the Chief Financial Officer for the Trump Organization, has recently been indicted, and the Trump Organization has been under investigation for at least the past year, if not a little bit longer. And there were speculations and rumors regarding his company for many, many years in terms of it being sort of like a mafioso type of company where shady dealings were going on, but it's made to look like it's a legitimate company, but there are some like illegal activities that are going on underneath the surface. And honestly, when it comes to these types of businesses, it usually does involve the IRS or some tax situation in some type of way coming into play when some type of charges come down. Because what is being alleged and what this indictment is alleging is that Weisselberg, who was is the CFO of the Trump Organization, the indictment is basically saying that he and some other executives of the company, they were compensated off the books, which a lot of us know as, being paid under the table, but off the books in order to pay less in local, state, and federal taxes. And they're alleging that Weisselberg, he received more than $1.7 million in this scheme. So with this indictment, there had to have been a lot of investigations that were going on, and the investigation found that Weisselberg was given approximately $1.2 million for rent, utilities, and related expenses for an apartment in Manhattan where he and his wife lived. And the allegations are also saying that Weisselberg lied about not being a New York City resident, despite his permanent residence being in the city. He and the company didn't report his compensation to local tax authorities and evaded about $200,000 in New York City income taxes from 2005 to 2013, according to the indictment. And the company also paid for private school tuition for some of his family members and also used personal checks signed by Trump. The company also paid for 2 Mercedes-Benz vehicles for Weisselberg and his wife, according to the indictment. And the government is saying that there were 2 sets of books, which that's always like crazy, right? Because they're actually proving things by keeping record of it. It's not that they just didn't do certain things or they did do certain things and it wasn't documented. No, they actually had 2 separate sets of books, and that alone is indicative of wrongdoing or crimes that are being committed when you actually are going out of your way to have 2 sets of books. And a lot of this Trump Organization investigation that was going on is alleging that some of the things that Trump was doing was, in order to gain favor with the banks, he would state that his properties and real estate was valued at far more than what they may have actually been worth. But when it came to paying the taxes on these properties, he would undervalue them and say that they were worth much less than what they actually were. And that is a crime. You're not supposed to do that. It's bank fraud, it's tax fraud, it's just a lot of fraud. And although, Trump is calling witch hunt, and, I think those are 2 of his phrases besides fake news, this is some real stuff that's going on. And his son, well, actually 2 of his sons, have been making the media rounds, and they're basically coming out and admitting that what Donald Trump is and his company, the Trump Organization, is being accused of and has been indicted for is actually true.
My father, after
almost 50 years of employment, paid for his grandkids' private school in New York City. My dad did that because he's a good guy, takes care of his employees.
Are you concerned that they may send an indictment your way, your brother's way, or your sister's way?
You know what? I'm not, Eric, because guess what? You know, we've always lived amazingly clean lives. And believe me, if they could have, they already would have, right? I mean, that's what they wanted. That was their end goal. They have an entire district attorney office and attorney general's office that's focused on $3.5 million to take down a political opponent. I mean, this is what they do. This is New York State for you. This is worse than a banana republic. It's truly horrible.
Because they are making the rounds and they're just pretty much saying, oh, our dad's, he's just a nice guy and there's nothing wrong and we live very simple, ordinary lives and he just did some nice things for some people and almost everyone has a company vehicle. I mean, they live in an alternate universe because no, it's not true. Not almost everyone has a company vehicle. A lot of people in the real world have to get to work the best way that they know how, unless they were telecommuting or had the opportunity during the pandemic to work from home. But a lot of people don't have that same type of lifestyle that the Trump kids are used to living. So in their universe, they believe that that's just normal for your boss to pay for your rent and pay for your grandchildren and children and whoever else to go to private schools and paying their tuition and paying for vehicles and other things that they were doing to avoid paying taxes on them. Because yes, you can do those things, but they have to be reported because it's, even though not money that you may be pocketing from your paycheck, it's income that you're earning and you still have to pay taxes on those things. And how sad and crazy it is, because these are the types of people that cause the deficit of the country, because people like myself and just regular everyday people who are really working hard, we get taxed out the wazoo by the government, and those very few at the very top, they don't get taxed federally like they should be, and they get all of these different situations where they can get these different tax write-offs and all of these different things that they get to do legally, but the taxes are not, being paid the way that they should be. So they come after people who are just the regular, everyday, normal working people to, take away things that we may have benefited from when it came to our taxes. And then, we get taxed even more. So hearing about this, it's just crazy. It's not shocking. Some people are saying that they're getting closer to Trump, and some people are saying, well, Trump was smart. He didn't email and he didn't put anything in writing, so they really can't bring anything back to him and to his doorstep and say that he's responsible for it and it's just the company. But it is his company. So we'll see what comes of this. There's probably going to be more to come and more will be revealed. So we will stay tuned, and as more is developing, I will share here and get your thoughts on it. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section. And speaking of Trump payments, Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani is one of Trump's personal attorneys. And during the election and this crazy election, all of the situations with the allegations about there being voter fraud and the election being stolen and all of the other stuff and all of the different lawsuits that were filed in all of these different states, which all of them were just pretty much like thrown out because they did not find any real cases of voter fraud that they were alleging. Rudy Giuliani racked up all of these billable hours representing Donald Trump and his best interests in this election debacle, and he's seeking to get payment. Now, as you may or may not know, Rudy Giuliani's law license has been suspended in the state of New York. And I don't know if they're going to take it any further. I don't believe he will be disbarred because, to be honest with you, the man is so senile at this point. I don't know who else would really want to hire him to represent them in any way, shape, or form. So I don't think that there's any real threat of him screwing up anyone's case or not representing anyone the way that they should be, because I don't think anyone else will entrust him to represent them in any way, shape, or form. But Rudy Giuliani, he represented Donald Trump in his attempt to overturn the election results. And he did all of these different things, which, you know, it's debatable whether the work that he did was worth it or even worth the amount of money that he was billing or charging for. And I don't know the amount of what his bills were. But Donald Trump is pissed off, and he is not going to pay. He's not going to pay him, just like he has not paid so many other people. There's like a long list of people that has done work for Donald Trump in the past that he has refused to pay. And there have been a lot of different lawsuits that have been filed against Donald Trump and judgments that have been declared against him for not paying for work that he asked to have done. But Donald Trump's family, it's being reported, has cut Rudy Giuliani off, and the president is pissed off that he has asked to be paid for his work, challenging the loss to the current president, Joe Biden. And that's all being alleged in a new book that's coming up. And the book, who the author is Michael Wolff, is talking about a number of different things regarding this last election cycle, and the title of the book is called Landslide: The Final Days of the Trump Presidency. And in it, Wolff, he's talking about Donald Trump's post-presidential life at his resort in Florida, Mar-a-Lago, and says that he is frustrated by the lack of progress in his quest to overturn the 2020 election result. This is so pathetic because it is July at this point, and this election was complete in 2020. Even though the inauguration was not going to happen until January, and we all know what happened at the Capitol on January the 6th, there are a lot of people who are denying that those were actual Trump supporters. I mean, let's get real, but I'm not even going into all of that right now. This is July, and this man is still frustrated about how this election was not overturned, and it's so sad and it's so pathetic. He's not crying and pissed off about all the different people who caught COVID under his watch, and he held back information, and he was putting out all of these crazy theories and these ridiculous methods to have people get cured or treat the virus, and the hundreds of thousands of people that have died. He's not speaking about that, and he's not angry about that. He's angry about the election and how it was stolen from him. And it's like, no, dude, it was not stolen from you. If you maybe, even though there are a lot of people that hated him, I'm indifferent, but it's like, maybe if you did a better job with handling this situation versus trying to make it all about you, but also not wanting to take any accountability or responsibility for what was going on, then possibly you would have won if people saw that you did the best that you could do. But there was just so much incompetence that was coming out. It was making a lot of people who were like genuine supporters of him, you know, say, you know what, I cannot vote for this dude again. I can't. I'm not even really voting for Biden. I'm just voting against him being in office again. So no, it was not stolen from you. But Rudy Giuliani wants to get paid, but Trump and his family is just like, not gonna do it. Not gonna happen. We're not paying those bills. Too bad. So sad. So again, it's not known exactly how much in total Donald Trump owes Rudy Giuliani, but Giuliani was charging Trump $20,000 a day to work on the election challenge. So if you know how many days he was working on this election challenge, just, you know, multiply that by 20,000 and then you there you go. So I am not feeling sorry for Rudy Giuliani, because he knows Donald Trump, and he knows that this man does not like to pay his bills. And even if you have helped him in some way before, if you don't get his ultimate result with everything that he wants you to do every time he wants to do it, then he's not going to pay you. And then he'll even act like he never even knew you. So good luck with that, Rudy Giuliani. But anyway, guys, you let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section.
Kiss my ass.